Meanwhile, we talked about the Seahawks draft to open the show. Most people that were texting in, giving their thoughts on it, feeling pretty good about it. Some not quite as happy, but I'd say feeling pretty good about what they did and where they did it. And Derick Hall was the third pick overall in the draft. They went cornerback, they went wide receiver, and then they went edge rusher or linebacker. I think it's always interesting when they got like multiple tags on a guy.
Yeah.
Is he a defensive end, edge rusher, or is he a linebacker? What is he? He's kind of, I've seen both labels on him, but
I think the only thing really that is distinctive about it is that, are you talking about a second-level linebacker, or are you talking about a on-the-line linebacker?
Yeah.
And really the difference is, and even some edge rushers and defensive ends will stand in a two-point stance.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a three-point stance, and I don't think he's necessarily a second-level linebacker.
When you look at him, do you feel like, okay, they addressed the linebacker spot? Because I don't. I look at it as they address their pass. I'm viewing him just sort of how he's termed as a guy up on the line. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, I think because it's a 3-4 defense, yeah, you kind of go, well, you're sort of you're like a fourth defensive lineman.
Yeah.
You know, if you're rushing, and I'm not sure what their plans are with him. And as far as, I didn't see any like pass coverage out of him, but you know, maybe he can do that. I don't know. I just think you'd be probably wasting him, dropping him back into coverage, because you know he is a ferocious player, man. He's just so explosive, and just, I mean, his speed shows up on film. He really, like I said, he disengages from blocks like ridiculous. Also, and I decided on the drive in, Bob, that I'm tired of talking about he's twitchy and he has contact balance and, you know, all these terms.
Have you ever talked about twitchy? Usually it's in mocking tones, Dave. We don't talk twitchy.
Oh, I know, but, you know, these drafts, and this is what we did the day of the draft. We had Brock in, we had Mike bump us in, and, you know, that was kind of the talk.
Yeah.
You know, but we're through with that, okay?
Yeah. I was through with that before it started.
One of the guys, and we'll get to him later, I said his lateral cuts are like a, they're like a slider. They're like a sweeper pitch, man. I mean, it just moves, you know, those kinds of descriptions, something that's, you know, you can kind of understand. But, yeah, I mean, he is just a ferocious player. Like I said, he plays hard every single time. The other thing, too, I noticed about him, he doesn't fall for like the jukes, you know, or whatever. Like his target, he knows where the quarterback is going or where the running back is going. And if, you know, the quarterback slows down or whatever, I mean, I'm looking at right now on a rollout quarterback, watching him, and the quarterback's trying to put all these moves on him, and he just stays steady. He's got a great idea of like where the target is and where can I, if I don't square him up, at least wrap him up.
Yeah.
And that's something he does well. He tackles well.
Well, here's Pete Carroll talking about what it is that they like about Derick Hall.
He's down a penetrator. He really gets off the right. He's really fast. Again, we added another fast guy to play on the edge that'll show up. In particular, if you've seen the highlights of his pass rush and how he digs into guys, speed and power is really his strength. And he pursues the ball really well. He chases it. Probably why that happens and why you're getting those numbers is because of the motor that he brings. He's really a constant. He brings it with great energy. Played a ton of plays. I think he played 80-something% of the time last year, you know. So he's a tough-minded kid as well. Going to really be a help for us on teams because he fits right into all of the core areas. He'll be a big guy for us and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at his, just for his stats. He played 4 years at Auburn. Same place, you know. They didn't go to a bowl game last year, but he played in 3 bowl games during his career. And he had 4 sacks his sophomore year, nothing his rookie, freshman year. And then, you know, he had 4 sacks his sophomore year, 12.5 his junior year, and then 11.5 his senior year. So production, tackles for loss, those were tackles for loss, I'm sorry, that I was reading there. The sacks are 4, 9, and 6.5. But like Pete said, he hustles his tail off, and like he's just got a really good kind of a feel for, you know, where the ball is going, and he's a hustler and explosive. So yeah, I don't know where they're gonna. I mean, I look at him like his comp on this team would be Uchenna. Nwosu, you know, like an outside linebacker. What did Uchenna get, like 9 or 10 sacks last year?
9, I think.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think.
Why do you think we didn't hear his name? That was the other thing. When they took him, we were all kind of looking like,
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, we looked at 8 million mock drafts, Dave. I mean, I feel like we've heard every name at one point or another. His was not a name that came up much, if at all, that I can remember. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't there, but it wasn't with the frequency that we were hearing these other names over and over and over.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he was kind of under the radar, or
I feel like he's one of those. There's so many players out there, and even all the mock drafts, you can't get to every last one of them. I mean, he gets picked in the second round. Maybe the mock guys had him in the third or fourth.